Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. Let's talk about the Marine Corps turn for color guard and also the Army wheel. Now, let me show you something first. This is the fish drill team from 2024. I will enlarge that. There we go. What is this? Well, it's a video lagging. What's this? He said left wheel march. Excellent execution, fish. That was fantastic. Now, what is that? That's a left wheel. Now, why is the rotation in the center? That's because it is a joint color guard. Now, all the same members, I get that. However, the colors here are Marine Corps and Navy. That's joint, so then the Marine Corps order says anytime the joint color guard works 2 or more services, the rotation point is in the center. Now, why is that? Well, it's a lot shorter in counts and also time to make the movement. Rather to have the rotation point in the middle, whether it's a space or an individual, then have the rotation point on either guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty much six steps. So that's a joint service wheel for the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard. There we go. Great execution. All right, so let's go to... Whoop, there we go. So I've been searching. Let's go to the Air Force Academy. What are they doing here? Left wheel, march. They go right into it. Great execution there. Okay, so that's a wheel, but it's joint service. Let's look at Navarre. Let me see. Let me get this a little larger. There we go. I'll let this play so we can see Navarre. Navy JROTC, they're going to execute 2. They're right above me here. They're going to execute a right turn here and then over. I don't even know where I'm pointing. Then over here, they're going to do another turn. So there we go. There's the turn. Now here's a left turn. Now, what happens in a turn? One individual marches in place, and the other 3, in this case, go into a pseudo half step. It's not really a half step. It's a measured out, metered step. Metered meaning that the 3 others will actually take less than or more than a half step. A half step for the Navy, for the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard is 15 inches, and the 15-inch step isn't consistently applied in the turn. Now, a turn has the rotation point on the guard. Why is that the difference? Because it takes about the same amount of steps to do a wheel with the rotation in the center than it does a turn than with the rotation on the guard. But let's look at the approach, and let me see if I'm going to try and enlarge this for you. I'll bring this over there. There we go. All right. I'll turn that up a bit. Here we go. Now, in my critique for the team, what I told them is the guard is actually marching in just a slight curve there, and the guard needs to stay in place, and then for a left turn, the dress is going to be to the left, so the left guard is the dressing point as the team turns. All right, everybody's going to keep their alignment to the left because the guard isn't going to move or isn't supposed to move from that spot. Now, what about their approach? Is it proper Or should somebody, when we enter half step, there's no special movement of the feet. It's just half of a full step. The only difference for half step for the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard is that there's a toe strike. So you go from marching straight forward with a heel strike at a 30-inch step to then halving your step, halving the distance there, and then marching with a toe strike. So their execution here is just fine. Now, I brought up in the critique that, do you want to actually slide that foot in and start the just like you would enter mark time? No, you don't want to do that. The guard probably should, but there's also the thought of consistency throughout the team. So the guard on whom the rotation point is for this left turn, it's the left guard. The guard could technically bring the feet up, slide together, and then start marching in place and rotating in that point. Now, that would be proper technique if the team were entering a mark time. However, since only the guard is entering mark time, entering it just like the rest of the team for consistency's sake, that's going to be appropriate. So Navarre did a fine job there. And I've got, here, let's go to Shock Platoon. This is Norwich University 2024. And I'll bring this back. There we go. There. And I will bring that up to full screen for you. There we go. Now, in their critique, I let them know that they're marching much too slowly. They're also marching shoulder to shoulder, but watch the approach of the team for the left, or for the left turn, the left wheel that they're going to do, since they're marching joint. So they stop and then march. So that is not the correct approach technique. Now, there was another color guard. Boy, did they look good marching at Tulane. And now I've been looking for it for the last half hour and I can't find it. They really looked absolutely fantastic with this kind of approach where they all stop, just like Norwich is doing here, and then moving into that turn. But it's incorrect technique. For the other team, this isn't all that aesthetically pleasing as far as the team stopping. But the other team, holy cow, it looked so good. Really, really nice. All right, so I'm going to pause here. Got another video that I want to slide over to the screen so my my broadcaster can pick it up, but I want to show you something different here. Okay, now it is fairly common for people to watch the Commandant's 4 at Marine Barracks, Washington. That's what this color guard is known as. The Marine Barracks, Washington color guard. It's very common to see them in their performance and say, wow, I want to look that good. Hey, I even do. But these techniques are only for Marine Barracks, Washington. Nobody in the fleet, nobody in any kind of cadet program. All right, so let's watch their turn. Wait a minute, that was a wheel, but they're not joint. Why'd they perform a wheel? Well, that's because it's even less counts to make that turn. This time to the left. They made one shortly before this. To the right. The rotation point is the space or the center of the team, right in between the two color bearers. It's not only shorter, but it's also more accurate. Now, speaking of being more accurate, let's continue on and see what they do as they approach their center line, or center walk, where they have to center themselves right in front of the commander of troops. Watch this. This is very interesting how they work this. This is a turn, but it's modified. Now you can see that the turn is actually on the right rifle guard, but just like Navarre did with that little tiny movement of the guard moving over, which you're not supposed to do, here it's necessary for the team to move in this manner so that they're centered. It's a whole everything on the parade deck at Marine Barracks, Washington. Everything is measured out. All the steps are absolutely known for every position out there, both the band, the drum and bugle corps, and each of the platoons that are out there. Every step is known, and it's been known for years, and it's very, very precise. So this is the technique. We'll see it again. As the team centers, and notice that they when they halt here, they are at close interval. So anyway, this is a really brief study of a turn, and even getting into wheel movement. But what I wanted to emphasize is that your feet aren't going to stop, and then you execute that movement, whether you're executing a turn or a wheel. Now, for the Army, let me bring up another video. For the Army, the command is called wheel. It's also called a wheel. Well, for the Air Force and Space Force, they have their unbelievably long and ridiculous half left and half right about. It comes from the Marine Corps left about, but still, it's silly. But I want to bring up the Army technique. Hold on just a sec. Okay, this is South Lakes High School Army JROTC, and here they're going to execute a wheel, but this is an Army wheel. And you can see that the rotation point is on the left guard. However, the left guard makes that, just like Navarre did, makes that little tiny arc when the guard really should be staying in place, and should have been, you can see my cursor there, should have been right probably back here for the wheel. But the whole team then moved up and over when it should have just gone around, just like a door swinging on that post right there, or a gate. You could call this a gate turn. So that's you can see how the left guard moves over just a bit. Now, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that's no big deal. However, that's not the technique. You need to stay in place. But just like the Marine Corps turn, which is the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard title for the wheel, although the wheel for the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard is totally different, the entrance, the initiation into both the turn, the Marine Corps turn, and the Army wheel are the same. And it's the same thing for the Air Force and Space Force, half left about, half right about. Why you have to have a mouthful of words just to say left or right wheel or left or right turn, I don't know. But it's a bit disappointing there. So anyway, this is the proper technique, just like you saw without bringing the feet together. It's the proper technique for the turn as well. So a little bit of not a very deep dive into this, but it's good information to have. Thanks for watching.